Welcome back, crafty friends. It's Alicia of the Call Me Crafty Al YouTube channel, and today I am back with a little pocket letter process video. It has been a while since I have done one, and since I created a pocket letter for the Oh So Inspired collaboration video, which I posted yesterday, and I'll link that below, I decided that I would just upload my process in case you were interested in seeing how I created that pocket letter. As I mentioned in yesterday's video, there will be a giveaway during this video, so make sure you keep watching and I will pop in with that giveaway. Now, before we get started, I wanted to go over some items I used, but if I missed something and you want to know more about it or have questions, feel free to leave those below and I'll answer them as soon as I can. I used craft cardstock for the background of all the pockets. For dies, I used the English Rose font. It's an old Quick Cuts alphabet for farmers. And for market, I used Kohl's ABC, and that is from Lawn Fawn. In the center, I used a Spellbinders die to create my mason jar. And all of the other fussy cut pieces and accents are from the brand new Farmer's Market paper pad, which was a Michael's Hot Buy item. And I shared a flip through of that a couple weeks ago, so I'll link that below as well. But here is what the front cover looks like in case you're out looking for it. It is a Recollections pad. Oh, and for the embossing on the craft pieces, I used a wood grain embossing folder by the Paper Studio. And of course, I have my sequins in there, which is just a mix of lots of different places. So let's go ahead and take a look at how this was made. Here is a look at some of the supplies I pulled out to create this pocket letter. Again, I have the Farmer's Market paper pad, some craft cardstock, some couple different brown inks, and a sponge dauber. The first thing I did was go through the paper pad and pull out any sheets that I thought I could use. Most of the sheets that I chose, I was just planning on using as accents because the main background for my pocket letter is going to be craft cardstock. Once I had the pattern papers chosen, I went and cut my craft cardstock piece down to 9 2.5 by 3.5 inch pieces. For the texture on my pocket letter cards, or my ATC cards, I ran them one at a time through my Cuttlebug with the wood grain embossing folder. And I would have ran through more at a time, but because of the size and the orientation they needed to go in the folder, I was only able to do one at a time. I did try to place them in different places around the embossing folder, just so they would each kind of have a different texture to them. To bring out the wood grain effect on the cards, I used a sponge dauber and some brown ink to just accentuate the raised areas of that embossed texture. The next thing I'm doing here is just on one to make sure it works. I am using my scoring tool to make the wood planks, and what I did is I calculated how far away from the edge I would need to do my score lines to make 3 even planks on that card. And here I just went back and just made sure that those were nice and deep. Once I knew that is what I wanted to do on each card, I went ahead and just did the same process to the 8 remaining cards. Now that I had my background all filled in, I went back to my pattern papers and just rough cut some accents or designs that I thought I might like to use for decoration of the pocket letter. I ended up cutting out a few of the vegetable baskets, some mason jars, and then here in a little bit you'll see me make some flair with this circle paper. I did forget to mention, out of some of the other pattern papers, I cut a label and then a seed packet and then just this little farmer's pocket ledger book. Once I rough cut all the pieces, I went back and fussy cut around each of the smaller accents. Here I am stamping designed by in brown ink on the blue label, and later I will sign my name on that. As I mentioned before, I am going to make flair with my button maker, and there was just a close-up of the model number in case you are interested. I am using flat back parts, and these are 1 1/4 inch buttons. This machine was pricey, but I have gotten a lot of use out of it. I also have button backs, and I like to make little buttons for either my daughter or the kids at school sometimes. I have a video on when I opened this or when I got some new parts, I can't remember, and I'll link that below so you can see that. I decided to ink the edges of my seed packet and my farmer's pocket ledger just to kind of bring in the inking from the embossed pieces. Now it's time to play with the placement of everything. Just when I think I have everything figured out, you'll see me go in later and change it again. The next thing I'm going to be doing is cutting my title for what I call the dashboard of the pocket letter. And I pulled out 2 alphabet fonts. The first one is an old Quick Cuts font called English Rose, and I'll be cutting out the word farmers. And the second one is Cole's ABCs from Lawn Fawn, and I'll be cutting out the word market. Before I put adhesive on the back of the letters and commit to placement, I did spend some time figuring out how I wanted to set down each letter so it would fit well on my dashboard cards. As I have mentioned many times in my videos, one of my favorite tools is this little Xyron sticker maker, and these can be found for a very reasonable price at Walmart or Hobby Lobby or Michael's or any place like that. add some extra dimension, I decided to use foam dots to place one of the vegetable baskets on the outside of the pocket letter. I also used my Xyron sticker maker again to get adhesive on the back of the word market, and I placed that on the outside of the pocket letter as well. One trick I use a lot to make sure that my alphabet letters are straight across when I want them to be is line them up along the edge of the Xyron backing. Once I have them in place, I fold back just half of the backing, put it onto the piece of paper or whatever I'm working with, and then take the rest of the backing off. To finish off my dashboard pockets, I used the foam tape again to adhere one of the fussy cut sunflowers up in the top right corner. Once again, you're just going to see me kind of play around with the placement of the pieces for the bottom of the pocket letter. As always, this is kind of a work in progress, and things change pretty much throughout the entire time until I actually make a cut or glue something down. And I think that's okay. That's just making sure that it gets to be where I really want it in the end. And of course, after I say that and commit to adhesive, later on in the video, you're actually going to see me move these center pockets to a different position on the final pocket letter. On the bottom row, I'm going to be doing the same thing I did for the top couple sections. I'm going to be placing some items inside the pockets and some on top of the pocket letter with foam dots. So here I am just kind of figuring out how exactly I want to arrange everything. I did end up cutting a little part off the farmer's pocket ledger and placing that across two of the inside pockets. To finish off that bottom row, I used more foam tape and adhered my sweet corn seed packet in the lower left-hand corner. It is giveaway time, crafty friends. Thank you so much for sticking around and watching this video. For this giveaway, I'm going to have 2 winners, and the prize is basically the same, except the first prize winner is going to get a little bit more, and this is a look at what the first prize winner will get. You are going to receive the pocket letter that I created in this video, as well as the 3 little flare milk bottle caps. Besides that, you're going to win a sampler pack of papers and cut-aparts from the Farmer's Market pad from Recollections. It's the new Hot Buy pad. And to see the papers in more detail, you can visit my flip through that I shared a couple weeks ago. But I'm just going to go ahead and show you the papers, just a little bit of them quickly. These are all about 6 by 6, and you get 2 from each 12 by 12 pad. And the other winner will win the rest of that. For the cut-aparts, they will be slightly different between the prizes, just because I try to split them up evenly between the winners, but some things are slightly different. So there's a little look at the first prize. Again, the second one is just about the same, except you do not get the pocket letter or the little flare that I made with my button maker. Now, here is how you're going to enter to win. The only row I have left to complete on my pocket letter is that center row, and I'm going to turn this into my shaker pocket row, and I'm going to have a couple different. I'm going to be doing a die cut here of a mason jar shortly, but then I'm also going to make the other two pockets just shaker pockets within the pocket letter. So of course the first thing I have to do is get my shaker mix ready, and I'm just pulling out some golds, greens, oranges, and I threw in a little bit of aqua to go with my designed by label. To create my mason jar shaker pocket, I'm going to be using this Spellbinders mason jar die to cut the shape out of the center of one of my plank cards in the pocket letter. When I put the die cut card back into the pocket letter in my original place, I decided that it was going to be too hidden by my sweet corn packet. So I did end up moving things around just a little before the final placement. It is now time to pull out my fusing tool, and what I'm going to do is just extend the fused lines of those pockets up higher, so later I will be able to turn those into shaker pockets. Once that is done, I am going to go around the inside of my mason jar just along the bottom part and fuse that. And the reason I'm doing this is I only want my sequins to be within the jar on that pocket. Once I have my sequins in place, I use this fusing tool again to seal across the top of the mason jar. And that one doesn't have to look that pretty because I end up kind of cutting a jar lid from that die in gold cardstock, and that covers up that fuse line there. The last thing I do is add the sequins to the left two pockets in that center section just to make those shaker pockets, and then I seal right across the tops of those cards. And here I am just cutting out just part of the mason jar, so I have kind of a lid to go on my mason jar on the pocket letter. Once I had that die cut and trimmed down, I added adhesive on the back and placed it on the outside of the pocket letter right at the top of that mason jar die cut. I hope you caught that giveaway in the middle of the video, and if you enjoyed this video, I hope you'll give it a thumbs up. That lets me know that you want to see more of what I'm doing or you like what I'm doing, and it helps my video reach more viewers. If you are new to my channel and would like to know when I upload more videos, feel free to hit that subscribe button below, and if you would like to be notified when new videos are added, just click on that little bell and you'll get a notification. I hope you're all having a crafty day. Thanks. Bye-bye.